This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to shout out Mr. Mo Party, who has So-Cal for Southern California.crypto. Man, that's a hot name. So anyway, I just pulled up, just thinking of that, and I pulled up vacationsdestinations.zil. It's $20. I might get it. I haven't got it yet, but I just want to show you guys, things like that are out there. So let's go ahead and get into the prices this morning. And obviously, I try to help you guys by, recognizing you and your cool cryptos that you've gotten. I do believe that they are new assets in a world that we're moving into very, very quickly. And by the way, something else that's moving quickly this morning is Bitcoin. Yeah, BTC, $12,322.82. Ethereum, $378.86. XRP is 24 cents. Drilling down on those numbers, 0.2481 this morning. It wants to be 25 cents. Market cap is 11.2 billion. We are up approximately 2.35% on the 24-hour at 1.1 billion plus, and the total circulating supply is now sitting at 45,248 million plus. Those are your numbers. One of these mornings, I think that's going to drastically change the way we read those numbers. It's just going to be like, wow, what are we seeing today? So, all right, I think we're going to look at some evidence today. Matter of fact, I know we are. That's really going to reaffirm some things we know if we've been in this space for a while. And if you haven't, it's certainly going to be some really nice food for thought. Let's go ahead and get started. So as we just reported, thanks to XRP Crypto Wolf, Bitcoin has crossed $12,000 as U.S. Treasuries Mnuchin and House Speaker Pelosi near a stimulus deal. We'll have to keep an eye on that to see if that actually gets done or if it falls to the floor as it has thus far. Now, let's move on to the next piece of news. This is going to escalate quickly as we move through. Grayscale now manages, you ready for this? $6.5 billion worth of crypto. Whoa! Go Grayscale. Go Barry Silbert. By the way, Barry, if you're listening, or anybody that works with you, standing open invitation to be on the show, my friend. Would love to speak with you about this exciting space and everything that you guys are doing there at Grayscale. Okay, so here, Michael Val 5 Links tells us the United States faces an increasingly urgent decision whether to take serious steps towards issuing a CBDC, as the Bank of China and others have begun. The sooner it decides, the better. No doubt about that. What I would say is I want to thank the Bahamian government because they released yesterday their central bank digital currency. That is really a historic moment. Very, very exciting. Now, we know China has been off to the races with that, but look at this piece of news here. Ontario introduces a program that can replace the physical ID cards with phones. And it goes on to talk about also healthcare ID and things of that nature. So the digital wallet is all encompassing from the idea and conversation that Ontario is having. And shout out to everybody up there in Ontario and all of Canada and the audience, just shouting you guys out. Again, these things are moving quite heavily. Let's take a look and keep moving here. So as all of the world is realizing these things, we know China has a central bank digital currency and their trials are underway. Shenzhen consumers spend $8.8 million in digital yuan, over 47,000 consumers that participated, receiving packets of about 200 digital yuan and conducting about 62,000 transactions. Very nice incentive, very nice business pressure being applied from China. I can appreciate that because it means that I don't care what anybody says about how far the U.S. is behind. I don't think the U.S. is behind so much as that the U.S. isn't telling us how much they've been doing. And I'm about to show you that in just a second. Now, moving forward here, we see that to highlight this again, we did touch on this already, but it goes with the narrative of today's news. Let's just touch it for a second. Ripple CTO David Schwartz says how XRP can benefit from a global financial reset as a neutral jurisdictionless asset. No doubt about it. It could obviously sit between all of these different CBDCs and fiat and tokenized assets of value that we're moving into. We are moving into a new form of the internet of value. Blockchain, distributed ledger technology. We know that everything is going to eventually be tokenized, and it's already underway. 80% of central banks are in some form of building, releasing, or testing, piloting their central bank digital currency because they know they're going to need one. And apparently, as we move forward to this information, we find out that the U.S. Comptroller of Currency here in the United States, Brian Brooks, oversees the entire banking system for the United States of America, which by his purview also covers PayPal, Square, Venmo, because crypto exchanges, because these entities perform banking activities. And that's how you get a level playing field, by tucking all of these payment companies, crypto exchanges underneath the same heightened prudential and regulatory framework as the banks themselves. So, and he obviously is a huge advocate for getting this clarity done because he sees that's where we're going. And so much so, he also remarked about DeFi and about how DeFi was imminent and inevitable, and it's going to be here too for decentralized lending. And I couldn't agree more with him. It's going to be a huge part of this this entire sector. But here is the one fly in the ointment here. Federal Reserve Chairman, shout out to Michael Val 5 Links, Jerome Powell says the Fed is methodically exploring the creation of a digital version of the U.S. dollar while evaluating the risk trade-offs of a central bank digital currency. Don't you just love how that sounds like, well, we're looking into it. You know, the rest of the world is issuing digital wallets, having people use it, spend it, right? We're preparing to launch it, all of this. Well, we're methodically looking and exploring the creation of it. Well, I just don't buy it. And the reason I just don't buy it is for a couple reasons. One, this is the Federal Reserve Faster Payments Task Force. And you'll notice right here, it was created in early 2015. So for 5 years, they focused on how to improve payments, and central bank digital currency never came up. Oh, brother. I've got some oceanfront property in Arkansas, if you're interested. At any rate, looking on, here's someone who doesn't mess it. PayPal to enable crypto purchases with the help of Paxos. Shout out to Bank XRP, who's back. We're glad he's back. This is really interesting to me because, you know, they have voiced that they were going to offer cryptocurrencies within the PayPal app. And to me, look at what this is going to do. I mean, millions upon millions of users. I don't know if it's 30 million or 60 million users, whatever that number is. It's pretty staggering. So the reality here for me is that we're about to see these payment applications offer crypto purchases while the Fed's still mulling it over whether they're going to need a digital dollar or not. You know, it was a year or two ago that Jerome Powell himself wrote an 8-page memo or dissertation about the central bank digital currency and what it needed to be, what it needed to look like, what were the things to think about, and this, that, and the other. That's why I feel like, look, here's the other part of this, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I want to say it again because I want everybody to hear it, and I want everybody to think about it. If all of the rest of the world in these other areas, Japan and China and Malta and Liechtenstein, are so far ahead with the clarity, and the clarity is there, why in the hell haven't they started using XRP yet then? You need a moment? Because I'll wait. Why haven't the rest of the world that's so far ahead started using XRP then? Because there's obviously a correlation or a collective effort, between the world and XRP. Otherwise, they wouldn't wait, just like they're not waiting to develop a central bank digital currency. they would take off and start using it and have that first early mover advantage and say, forget you, I'm going without you. Well, to me, that just shows what an international effort this is. And there'll be a reason, I believe, we'll see sometime in the future here, where XRP will get the international classification and designation it needs. And the world and large financial institutions and payment providers and the rest of it will begin to use it. Because it takes synchronization, as Bob Way said. But they certainly understand its value. Matter of fact, let's listen to an old clip here of Mr. Ahmed from PayPal talk about the idea of using it for small, low-value payments right now. Not just Ripple, but XRP in a congressional hearing, no less.
Comment on that.
I would just note that, for the kind of core banking architecture, I think there would probably be some changes needed in terms of the Federal Reserve System. But for, smaller...
Notice he said there would probably be some changes needed for the Federal Reserve System. Yeah, he knew it because they've been working on it since 2015. Come on in. Listen to the rest of it.
Valuation or smaller amount payments. I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems being created that enable the movement of money. So I think there are examples out there. We talked about XRP or others that kind of...
XRP or others. And there it is right there in a congressional hearing from my man, Mr. Ahmed at PayPal, who now is getting ready to make cryptocurrencies available for purchase for consumers. And also expressing how he sees the advantage for PayPal's business model to begin using and settling low-value payments, small-value payments, with XRP. I have to say, I leave you with this from Real XRP Boy here. A friendly reminder, onward. Absolutely well said, XRP Boy. Ripple Labs is also in a unique position because of, on the one hand, we are a startup, but on the other hand, we also have deep connections with financial institutions. Our team has experience at places like Google and Apple, but also the Federal Reserve. Shout out to Greg Kidd. And the SEC, Goldman Sachs. So we have this combination of tech and finance that brings a diverse perspective to the table. All right, that's going to do it for me. I think this gets more interesting by the day. I don't know and pretend to know when the Fed is going to announce their central bank digital currency. But one thing I do know is I absolutely believe that it is about the order of the international bodies like the G20 that have made these decisions to move forward with this technology and to implement it in grand scale. And I really do believe, because the U.S. is the largest economy, that they will go last because they will be the catalyst that kicks it all off. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't see SBI, Bank of England, of things of that nature connected. And in fact, recently, yesterday, we saw CFTC and the Bank of England connect for clearinghouses. And I think that's a huge positive sign. I actually had a comment that I left on Philosophy of Met, J.C. Collins. Shout out to him. He does really great stuff. But he had asked a question, is this a sign that, Ripple got jammed up? And I actually think the opposite in respect to his comment. But I actually believe that that was the greatest signal to show that Ripple's not going to need to move at all, because we're seeing the market infrastructure be connected. And for me, they don't have to necessarily say it, because I've been here for years watching the back end of all of this communication, and the Federal Reserve Faster Payments Task Force has been about clearing and settlement and all of these things. And in large part, I think XRP will be a huge role, personally myself, in the settlement and clearing of derivatives around the world. So it's very exciting to me where we actually are. And I don't think it's in the Fed's best interest to forecast their hand. I think the fact that I personally believe that they're achieving a lot more and have achieved a lot more behind the scenes than they're willing to share is just a part of the process about how we're retail investors and they're not. And it's not in their best interest interest to share that with us before they're ready to actually launch it. And I don't believe that they're confused about when that'll be. It's just that we don't know. All right, that's going to do it for me. As they say, I don't know when prom night is, but I know they already bought the dress. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and make sure you share with somebody you know. And check out the links in the description box in the comment section. I'll catch all of you on the next one.